Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Andrea Castellanos reporting. Grand County High School gets ready for the opening of the Technology Center. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
The 50 More account at First Western. More perks, free checks, free checking, travel benefits, more security, $100,000 accidental death insurance, more convenience, direct deposit and notary service, all free with just a $100 balance. Or for no minimum balance and just $4 a month, join the 50 More Plus account for all these benefits. Plus, eyewear and pharmacy discounts, CD bonuses, safety deposit boxes, and more. The 50 More accounts at First Western National Bank.
Families in the West know what it takes to produce blue ribbon quality. We were raised on quality poultry, guaranteed fresh and USDA inspected. People still look for the best when they go to the market. It's a tradition, and the guarantee of getting your money's worth still stands for something at City Market, the best meat market in town.
It's the holiday season, and if you're flying off to spend time with relatives and friends, Alpine Air wants to remind you you can save up to 36% off airfare with 3 or 8-day advance ticket purchases. Discount fares apply on either one-way or round-trip fares to either Salt Lake City or Grand Junction, Colorado. So plan early and save with Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
Grand County High School gets ready to open the new Technology Center. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
Monday is a holiday for the Grand County school system, Martin Luther King's birthday. Tuesday is the beginning of the new quarter, and it's also the beginning of a new era of education in Grand County. Because beginning on Tuesday, the long-awaited Technology Center will be open for students. Teachers Ed Welling and Chuck Miley, along with Principal Larry Price, spent Friday assembling the first workstations featuring a truckload of computer equipment, accessories, and software packages. Some of the equipment was purchased by the school district, but most of it was a greatly appreciated gift, the result of a $190,000 grant from IBM. And Price told Channel 6 that the students can get started learning the machines right away.
And we have about a dozen stations ready to go out of maybe 20 that we will have 24 stations altogether. So we're about halfway there. As you can see, there's still a bit of clutter and some cleaning up and some finish work that we're going to have to do, but we will have at least 6 of those stations, if not 12, ready to go for the start of class on the second semester.
A number of schools have moved to computer labs, but Grand County will be different. Instead of insulating computer learning to a single room, the entire building will be wired and networked with terminals in all the classes, giving students in English, math, social science, and language classes access not only to advanced programs, but to information banks at the University of Utah. In recent weeks, district teachers have gone back to class as well, learning the hardware and programs so they can pass on that knowledge to the students. According to Price, the teachers' enthusiastic participation is necessary.
No amount of glitz, of pretty toys and high tech can overcome the need for a well-trained, caring, empathetic teacher. Somebody who knows how to use these implements like a tool. We have a class called Tools of Our Times. If they cannot pass that information, that excitement for learning, and the appropriate use for these tools, that's all they are, is expensive desktop decorations.
And teacher Chuck Miley agrees.
I've never seen an overhead transparency or a videotape or a book or a chalkboard teach anybody anything. I've seen that stuff enhance learning. I look at the computers and the capability of the computers the same way. I think the teacher is a vital part there. The machines and the equipment used properly will enhance the instruction to an incredible amount. I teach drafting. I believe that the student has to learn drafting on the drafting table up to a point. If they learn their skills on the table, they learn production and technique on the computer.
Miley has been working toward getting the high school ready for the Technology Center for 3 years. More than anyone else, it's his baby. And even before it opened, Miley and Ed Welling were able to utilize the facility to help teach students.
I've had drafting classes in this room, fed them some ideas on what it would take to turn this room into a technology center, and the students actually started brainstorming and coming up with designs and ideas on how we could construct a facility to house technical equipment such as computers, CD-ROMs, etc.
These students went beyond just designing the Technology Center. They built models of the various workstations, constructed to scale, and used them to plan out the overall function and design of the facility. Then some of the students went into high gear.
The students there's been a small group of students that has enrolled in the afternoons with myself and Mr. Welling to actually do the construction, to learn how to mass produce, to learn how to do finishing, to learn how to cost out. The information that they've gone through or received during the process of building this is invaluable. All those students could probably walk out of here now and, if you would, start their own company building these things.
A single comparable workstation sells for almost $10,000. The cost to Grand County to have the students construct a room full of them, a total of less than $6,000.
I think we're making a much wiser use of our dollar, getting more bang for our buck in having our really top quality instructors teach these kids production techniques and vocational trades. And through that combined effort are coming up with a very good quality product.
The grant from IBM has gotten the Technology Center off to a great start, but school officials stress that the support of the community is what made it possible. Last summer, the Moab City Council decided to allocate $10,000 for the project, and Price says that contribution was, in the end, worth much, much more.
There is a lot of community support for our school, which belies the reputation this community has. Without that key and pivotal support from the community, saying to these corporations that it isn't just the educators, it isn't just a school system, but an entire community emphasis on the need for technological training for their children, we would have never gotten any of this. It would have been just like every other area that said, well, we see the value of it and we'll put a token amount in it. Without more than the educational system, without the community backing, they would have said, you don't have the support you need. We were able to demonstrate a total commitment on the part of our school board and the city of Moab in funding and in writing the grants for this and our commitment. That allowed us to more than double what our fondest dreams were for our facility.
The final result, Price says it will be a huge step for education here.
By the end of this year, Grand County will have probably the highest level of technology of any school of any size anywhere in Utah, with approximately $250,000 in hardware investment, not counting tens of thousands of dollars in the educational packages that will go to make these usable tools.
The faculty, the administration, and the Board of Education are united in their efforts to make this Technology Center work, giving Grand County students the high-tech skills that are necessary to compete for higher education and for jobs. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Local residents will meet to discuss the appointment of Lyle Anderson as district judge. And the Grand County Search and Rescue Team gets ready for what they think will be the busiest year ever. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
And action. McDonald's Egg McMuffin sandwiches. They don't really do anything, but they taste really good. And now you can get 2 of them for just $2.
And cut. Thanks, guys. That was great.
The surface of a strange, distant planet? No, 2 tantalizing McDonald's Big Mac sandwiches. Now get them both for just $2.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Deep in a remote jungle? Nope. 2 Big Macs for $2. You mean you forgot already?
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
If you want to make your ideas known to the state legislature on the appointment of Lyle Anderson as new district judge, a group of citizens are meeting Monday to gather your comments. That was the word from Dave Everest, who is helping put the meeting together. Anderson was nominated from a list of 3 Southeast Utah attorneys to take the place of retiring Judge Boyd Bunnell. The district covers Carbon, Emery, Grand, and San Juan counties. Anderson was, until this month, the Grand County attorney. He had been appointed by County Commissioners David Knudsen, Manuel Torres, and Sam Cunningham after voters declined to return Elaine Coates to office. According to Stuart Smith from the State Office of Legislative and General Counsel, letters raising concern about Anderson's nomination, most of them from Moab, led the Legislative Judicial Conference Committee to schedule a public meeting in Salt Lake City next Wednesday to discuss it. Everest told Channel 6 why he is holding this local meeting.
Seeking public input on the nomination of Lyle Anderson as 7th Court District Judge. There's a public meeting in Salt Lake City on the 20th where they make a determination.
So you're trying to gather the point of view of people here in town?
Right, information to help this committee decide on Lyle Anderson's nomination.
Do you have questions or concerns about the nomination?
Yes, I have some questions. I want it understood that I have nothing public or personal against Lyle Anderson at all. I don't even know the man. He's worked for us as a public official, and I have some questions about the performance in that line.
Everest says he is concerned that party politics may have played a role in the governor choosing Anderson over 2 other regional attorneys, including current Grand County Attorney Bill Benj.
One of the problems that we have with this situation is partisan politics. This appears to be a political nomination. 2 other lawyers were passed over with longer time on the bar, and they were Democrats, not Republicans. The state constitution in Article 8, Section 8, specifically states that partisan politics should not be part of appointment of a district judge.
That local meeting will be held Monday evening at 7 p.m. at the Grace Lutheran Church. According to Stuart Smith of the Legislative Council Office, he cannot remember a time when the Senate did not confirm a governor's nomination. A meeting of Western States Search and Rescue Board members scheduled for Moab this weekend has been postponed. Local Search and Rescue Commander Kent Green told Channel 6 that bad weather and heavy snow is preventing participants from Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming from getting to Moab. The meeting will be rescheduled for sometime in March. The final report on search and rescue activities for 1992 is out, and according to Green, it was a very busy year.
We had over 8,000 man-hours. We had over 6,000 miles traveled throughout Grand County. Very little of that was in San Juan County. We handle calls in San Juan County, such as Hoorah Pass area, where it's much closer to us than it is to them.
What were most of the calls about?
Most of the calls were lost mountain bikers, generally in the Porcupine Rim area, Poison Spider area, and we did quite a few ambulance assists on the Slick Rock Bike Trail.
How does it look for this year? Are you gearing up for another busy year?
Yeah, we are. I think in 93 it's going to be busier than 92. We had 41 rescues in 92. We were 1 down. In 1991 we had 42 rescues. But I think 1993 is going to be busy.
You have volunteers who have done a job that all the residents in town admire and respect. But they are volunteers. The pressure of the amount of work is increasing each year. Are you going to be able to keep it up?
I hope so. The people we got are good people. They're trained. We try to train quite a bit. It's not every day you can call somebody out at 2 o'clock in the morning and say that we have a lost person in Porcupine Rim, or possibility they're injured in Porcupine Rim or Poison Spider, and they've never hesitated. They just get right out of bed and they go for it. And they're a good bunch of people. They really are. The community has got a great asset.
In addition to volunteering hundreds of hours, search and rescue personnel also undergo extensive training both before they serve and throughout the year. The Dead of Winter art show is now at the Dan O'Lury Museum. The exhibit, featuring the work of a host of local artists, is being shown through the month of January, and Friday evening, January 15th, the museum will hold a special reception for the artists. That reception takes place from 7 to 9 p.m. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
Well, welcome to Fat City Smokehouse. We'd like to take this opportunity to show you what we have to offer in the way of smoked meat products. We have our brisket of beef, which we smoke 12 to 15 hours. We have chicken. We have all our own homemade sausages. We have pork ribs. We have baby back ribs. We have what's getting quite famous, our slick burger, which is a half-pound hamburger. We have a vegetarian burger for you vegetarians. We'd also like to invite you folks down to come and check our daily specials out.
John Denver speaking for Tree City, USA. City trees add the soft touch of nature to our busy lives. We need to plant more trees and make a commitment to their care. Support Tree City, USA where you live. For more information, write your state forester or the National Arbor Day Foundation.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Clouds hung over the valley on Friday with some light rain scattered throughout the region. And look for some rain and snow throughout the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for some patches of sunshine mixed with cloud and snow as a storm moves over the state. Look for afternoon high temperatures in the 40s, with overnight lows down around 25 degrees. Expect the storm to stay around for a while, with clearing by Wednesday. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Andrea Castellanos reporting.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Ken Davey reporting. Governor Mike Leavitt selects Blanding City Council member Keel Johnson to sit in the Utah House of Representatives. And the Special Service Road District tells candidates for the County Council that they should continue county support for the Road Board. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
It's breakfast time. You're long on hunger, but short on change. What can you get for $1.89? How about this? Or this? Now it's lunch. How much you got? Lunch for $1.89? Golden Steak, your special place, every day of the week.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in Southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore, and more.
The 50 More account at First Western. More perks, free checks, free checking, travel benefits, more security, $100,000 accidental death insurance, more convenience, direct deposit and notary service, all free with just a $100 balance. Or for no minimum balance and just $4 a month, join the 50 More Plus account for all these benefits. Plus, eyewear and pharmacy discounts, CD bonuses, safety deposit boxes, and more. The 50 More accounts at First Western National Bank.
Governor Mike Leavitt has selected Blanding City Council member Keel Johnson to be the Southeast Utah representative to the State House of Representatives. Johnson will take over the seat that opened in 1992 when David Adams decided not to run for re-election. Johnson lost the Republican Party primary last September. He was beaten by Grand County attorney and Monticello resident Lyle Anderson. But now Anderson is in line to be appointed 7th District Court judge, pending approval this week by the state Senate. Last week, Republicans from Grand, San Juan, and Emery County met and chose 3 names to send to the governor. Along with Johnson, former publisher of the San Juan Record Joyce Martin and Grand County Special Service Road District Chairman Gene Nodine were also included. Johnson will serve through 1994. The Grand County Roads Special Service District Board made its pitch to candidates in the upcoming County Council election to continue county support for the district and its projects. That took place Saturday morning, where Road District Administrator Jimmy Walker went over the history of the district since it was established in 1988, including its decision to choose the Book Cliffs Highway as its major project.
Working in conjunction with the county commission, it was decided how would we rate projects and what was the most important project. The criteria at that time and why we picked the Book Cliffs Highway was to put the money into projects that would generate more mineral lease monies. We felt that that was probably, the Book Cliffs area was probably Grand County's future bank when it comes to mineral lease monies. And so we felt that that was a good project to put our efforts in. Meeting with Uintah County, they felt the same way we do, and so we needed to make a joint effort. So they got the same support in Uintah County as we did here, through letters of support.
The district receives mineral lease monies from the federal government. Walker said the board then went to the state of Utah.
We went to the Community Impact Board to see if there was going to be a possibility of getting funding from the Community Impact Board. They agreed that with our status of revenue coming from mineral lease monies, that we could probably comfortably work on a $3 million loan, and Uintah County could work on a $6 million loan.
Walker also said that due to the Bureau of Land Management, the cost of the road project and the environmental impact statement kept growing.
We became involved in a situation that was getting too costly and too expensive. But after you spent that much, you keep spending more to cover your thing, and we felt it went too long. They've added more than was necessary to do an EIS. We were not happy with it, but nevertheless, we still had to go that route.
The board also showed a collection of letters sent to the district in 1989 supporting the Book Cliffs Highway plan. But since then, the project has grown in controversy, as some say the money for the highway could be better used on other local needs.
What's the board's response to at least the perception that the majority of the people in the county are not in favor of the road?
I think there is a lot of public concern out there over this Book Cliffs Road. I think the biggest concern is where it should be. It's going to cost Grand County some money. The problem is we don't know how much it's going to cost. I think the perceptions with the public out there, because I don't think we've had a fair shot from the news media. I think that they've made issues over it on rumors that I don't think were founded. For instance, like the road's going to cost 100 or 110 million, and that figure supposedly came up because it cost so much money to do the Douglas Pass Road per mile, and they multiplied it by per mile, and they come up with 100 or 110 million dollars. That was never the position of this board or Grand County.
Walker was joined by Gene Nodine, whose term on the road board expired this month, but who spoke for the board to the candidates.
There's been a real misconception of the people out there, and it's whoever gets to be the new council member, is how do you figure out what the public really wants? And you mentioned, well, the majority of the people. I don't know how.
Perceived majority.
Perceived, and that's
perceived.
a
I
tough
can't
proposition for you as council members. I've been a district manager, or was a district manager, excuse me, for 22-some years, trying to figure out the best kind of decision that would meet the needs of the people. And there is a silent majority out there that you're going to have to try to figure out just what they want.
Nodine says that in his view, the board, in pursuing the Book Cliffs project, has been following the direction of the County Commission and of local residents.
This board has really, so to speak, hung tough that this was what the people wanted when, in 1989, when this project started. And you can read all the letters of support. And when you get that support, you just don't shut it off overnight. We have not got a letter or one word from the county commission to say, shut this off.
Walker and Nodine both told the candidates that there are other important future projects for the road district, including pursuing rights of way from the federal government across public lands. It's bad news for local basketball fans, and the Dana Laurie Museum salutes local artists. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance is your agent on the scene and behind the scene to make sure you get prompt, efficient response to your insurance claims. John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance, your independent insurance agent, the agent who works for you.
Brighten up your wardrobe this season with a special look from On the Edge. Striking sweaters for her and comfortable flannel shirts in light and heavy weights. Top them off with a wide variety of leather and denim coats. Look sharp this fall with activewear from On the Edge. When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Monday was a national holiday celebrating the birthday of the Reverend Martin Luther King, and many Moab residents took the day off. Federal employees at the Bureau of Land Management and the Park Service closed their doors, as did the post office. State offices were also closed, including the state liquor store. City and county officials also stayed home, except for law enforcement officers. Construction workers at the Visitor Center project made it a holiday, but those working on the courthouse were out on the job. Banks were among the private businesses taking the day off, but most other retail businesses were open for customers. It was the Dead of Winter art show reception at the Dana Laurie Museum Friday evening. The museum hosts displays throughout the year, but has set aside January to feature the work of a host of local artists, ranging from the landscapes of Susan Jameson to the avant-garde photo manipulation of Terry Knopf. The art show focused on the scenes and beauty of the area, and some of the participants told Channel 6 what in the region inspires them.
Of course, the landscape, but to me it's a lot more than that because I was born and raised here, and it's the history of the area. And I'm interested in the way that the land affects things over time. A gnarled tree, or say an old miner, the people who live here, and even old bottles, things that have been in the desert for a certain amount of time.
Colorado Plateau has inspired a number of artists. What is it about this area that intrigues you?
Well, their mountains are so beautiful here.
more than anything on the eastern range, I think it's because people don't have enough time to get as far west as Ouray is. But it's gorgeous scenery over there in the San Juan.
You get out in the hills and just get inspiration just from different the way light hits the rocks sometimes.
How long have you been working as an artist in Moab?
17 years.
What is it about this area that attracted you and has kept you here?
Awe-inspiring nature. I mean, what can you say about this place?
What is it about the Red Rock that intrigues you?
I guess it just makes me feel small, and that's why I'm painting the sky, is because the sky's even bigger than the rock. So now it's really small.
Local artists have decided to get together Monday evening to forge an artists' alliance, promoting cooperation, show space, and publicity. The Dead of Winter Art Show at the museum runs through the end of January. It was not a good weekend for the fans of the Red Devil basketball team. Friday evening, they hosted Grantsville in front of a good crowd, but for Coach Ray Peeney and the team, it wasn't a good game. Grantsville took advantage of some fast breaks and took a 13-point halftime lead, stretching it to 20 points by the end of the game. Cody Holyoke and Jason Nelson led the Devils with 15 points each. On Saturday, the team traveled to Green River, but despite a furious run at the end, dropped another game to the Pirates 57-53. The team now rests for a few days, then hosts Park City this Friday. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
The Nike Air Moab, only at RIM.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
It was sunshine in the valley on Monday, with afternoon temperatures climbing into the mild 50s. But the Weather Service says don't put away your bad weather gear just yet. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for a chance of some rain through Tuesday. Look for afternoon highs again around 50 degrees, with overnight lows down to the freezing mark. Some cooler weather should come in by Wednesday and Thursday, bringing partly cloudy skies, just a small chance of some rain, highs in the low 40s, and overnight mercury readings down to the mid-20s. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Ken Davey. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The County Commission decides to reappoint Gene Nodine to the Roads District, but tables a move to put Annette Greenberg on the Mosquito Board. We'll have that story plus a look at the rest of the County Commission meeting when Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces Common Sense Checking. It has all the benefits like free checks, unlimited checking, accidental death insurance, safe deposit boxes, etc.
But Common Sense has more. Credit card protection, a $500 emergency cash advance service, keyring protection, and a discount program to save you up to 50% on lodging worldwide and other great travel discounts. So why did First Western expand your banking benefits? Common Sense. First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
It's the holiday season, and if you're flying off to spend time with relatives and friends, Alpine Air wants to remind you you can save up to 36% off airfare with 3 or 8-day advance ticket purchases. Discount fares apply on either one-way or round-trip fares to either Salt Lake City or Grand Junction, Colorado. So plan early and save with Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
Best Value is your locally owned and operated food store, and to be sensitive to the needs of their community, they feature well-stocked shelves, fresh produce, choice meats, major brands, always at competitive prices. But that's only part of Best Value's advantage. They believe in service like special orders and fast checkout for stress-free shopping. So check out Best Value today and check out a satisfied customer.
The County Commission is now in its last month before the new County Council takes over. And one of the tasks they have is to appoint members to various county boards and commissions. Most, but not all, of those new appointments are relatively uncontroversial. On Tuesday, the Commission agreed to appoint Dorothea Sackerson to the Library Board, Teresa King and Lucky Morris to new terms on the Travel Council, and Tom Reese and Jim Purcell back to the Planning Commission, as well as Mary Jo Chamberlain to the Southeast Utah Health District. The Commission also reappointed Rick Hoover and John Holbrook to the Hospital Board, as well as new member Dixie Barksdale. But 2 of the appointments were controversial, as the Commission approved one but held off on the other. On the first, Commissioners Manuel Torres and Bart Levitt voted to reappoint Gene Nodine to the Rhodes Special Service District, with Peter Haney saying no. Nodine was first appointed to the board to fill an open seat in November. Road District Administrator Jimmy Walker told the Commission that the board did not advertise for the opening in January because they felt Nodine should be reappointed.
The reason that we feel that he'd be a good asset to the county, to the road board, is the knowledge that he has with working in the federal government to be Alabama. And probably the big issue that's going to come up is RS 2477 and the rights county has.
But on Saturday, Nodine had told candidates for the county council that before he would serve on the road board, he would like direction from the new council.
Before I accept a position from the new council, if they want this board, the council is going to have to come to me and say, we would like to have you on this board. And I'm going to say, I need to know what the mission of the council is to this board. And if the mission that you want this board to conduct is within my parameters of acceptance, then I will say, yeah, I will stay on this board.
But at the commission meeting, Walker said that was not the case.
He did make that statement. The point he was trying to make was that it's a good idea to find a new board, or the council gets in place. We all sit down and make sure that we're all headed in the right direction.
Do we want to make a appointment to that board then?
I would like to open it up for other applicants and publish that for the next 2 months.
Do we have a second to that? Do we have a recommendation?
Well, I make the motion that we appoint Gene to fill that vacancy.
Okay.
In another split decision, the commission declined to appoint Annette Greenberg to the Mosquito Abatement District. Greenberg was the choice of that board at a meeting earlier this month. Her name was presented to the commission by Mosquito Board member Joe Eaton, but only Haney would vote to go ahead with the recommendation.
Why don't you go ahead and make the appointment, and because that can keep it past practice.
Well, it may be, but at this point, I'm just not comfortable in seconding that motion. Maybe I need to know more about her, I don't know, but at this point, I'm just not comfortable.
In other business, the commission heard from Gail Houston, who runs a business in Spanish Valley. She was opposed to the commission's decision in January to increase the business license fees in the county from $10 to $50 per year.
So I believe this rate is unfair, number one, because this is more of a rate change than should be allowed in 1 year. Number two, because small businesses are asked to bear the same rate as larger, more lucrative businesses do before ever having made a real profit, thereby perhaps making it prohibitive to start or continue a marginal business.
Well, we didn't think it was an excessive amount when we raised it.
Although you discussed it, didn't you?
Without looking into it any further, I still don't think it's an excessive.
Well, what we can do, I mean, basically this year is pretty much fixed, but that's one of the things that we could go back and change for 94, I think. And I think it does warrant looking into, but
That increase applies to businesses that operated outside of the city limits of Moab. In town, licensing is handled by City Hall. Rudy Higgins asked the county to return to him a right-of-way he gave the county about 5 years ago when the county discussed building a road to the northwest of the hospital. That road was never built.
Well, why don't you give us 2 weeks to go through to make sure that we can find these documents in our records. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and make that decision the 1st of February.
And finally, the commission went into executive session to discuss a suit against the owners of the J.B. Ranch Road. The county said the road across the ranch is part of the county road system and should always be open to the public. The local residents gave their views of whether or not Lyle Anderson should be appointed judge. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
Hello, neighbors. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Maroney, owner of Dos Amigos. I've come into your homes because, admittedly, since my arrival in Moab, I have raped and pillaged not only you, the members of the community, but thousands of unsuspecting tourists as well. If I hadn't foolishly squandered the proceeds, I would happily return them, and I can only hope that what I'm about to announce will in some way make amends for my selfish acts. On a recent journey to the Baja, I secured and returned to Moab with 3 large artist renderings of Mr. Elvis Presley on beautiful velveteen. That's right, the largest collection of velvet Elvises in the state of Utah is now housed in our community and on display at Dos Amigos during normal business hours. Come and behold him, and please, no flash cameras.
Pick up a current copy of Moab Happenings for the latest information on activities, dining, school events, recreation, filled with pictures and maps, and it's free. Moab Happenings.
The recent rains have led to more than puddles. North of the entrance to Arches National Park, the steady drenching rain loosened some of the canyon walls, and a pile of rocks rolled onto Highway 191, disrupting traffic. Crews were out, and soon cars and trucks were back to speed. Also on Highway 128, the River Road has experienced several rock slides, making travel hazardous in sections of that highway. The steady rain caused mud and puddles, but the downpour was never intense, so flash floods did not take place and damage from the weather was small. Should Lyle Anderson be appointed to 7th District Court Judge? Some local residents gathered Monday evening to say they felt he should not, but they were joined by other residents who said he should. Anderson, a Monticello attorney, served as county attorney here in Grand County for the past 2 years. He was elected to the state legislature last November, but was chosen by outgoing Governor Norman Bangerter for the judge position. On Wednesday, the state Senate will consider approving that nomination. Some people here, citing Anderson's record as county attorney, said they had concerns about the appointment.
First of all, I feel this was a partisan appointment. If the state constitution, Article 8, Section 8, strictly forbids a partisan appointment. They passed over 2 Democratic appointments with twice the amount of experience as Lyle Anderson. According to Martindale Hibble, they all have a B rating. Lyle Anderson's father was on the appointing committee until Lyle became appointed, and then he dropped off. To me, that smacks of a political, partisan politics.
There's no doubt in my mind that Mr. Anderson, if he was in my employ as counsel on a civil matter, or maybe even a criminal matter, would not represent me with exceptional ability as counsel from my needs, from the point of view of my defense. But when it comes to setting in a position of judgment, in a judicial position such as this, I don't think he's had the years of experience or has exhibited the impartiality that I would expect from a judge. And I say this from the standpoint that he was in the employ of Grand County as county attorney. And yet he was very prejudicial in his approach to questions that concerned a lot of Grand County citizens, particularly in the change in the format of county government.
But others said they held Anderson in high esteem.
My personal experience with Lyle Anderson is that whenever I've asked him a question, I felt he's gave me his honest feeling on it. And I don't think he's quite as bad as been portrayed here. Seems to me like there's a lot of the same people can't remember why Lyle's there in the first place. People of Grand County voted Elaine Coates out. Lack of support. The people of Grand County, by doing that, threw responsibility into the hands of the county commission. They filled that responsibility by hiring Lyle.
I don't want to stay. I'm getting upset at the meeting, but I have to stand up and say, in 9 years I've been in the court system, I've never had any contact with an attorney or a man that had higher integrity or higher regard for the law or for people than Lyle does. I feel badly that you've seen him in a bad light, but I admire and respect this man very much, and it really hurts me to hear you talk about him this way.
I've heard that from other people too.
And
so you're not the only person.
I do come from, I think, a position of experience, working with the courts and working with him as prosecutor for our county. He's done an excellent job. And I think as an attorney, he's given me a renewed faith in the legal profession.
Anderson was one of 3 names submitted to the governor by a nonpartisan judicial committee headed by State Supreme Court Justice R. Gordon Hall. Anderson will fill the vacancy created by the retirement of current Judge Boyd Bunnell. The 7th District Court takes in San Juan, Grand, Emery, and Carbon counties. The Moab City Council hold its regular meeting Tuesday evening. At the top of the agenda is presentation of the 1991-92 annual audit. The council will also hear from the public on their views of the water, sewer, and drainage expansion. The meeting takes place Tuesday evening beginning at 7 p.m. at the Board of Education offices on 4th East. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Well, welcome to Fat City Smokehouse. We'd like to take this opportunity to show you what we have to offer in the way of smoked meat products. We have our brisket of beef, which we smoke 12 to 15 hours. We have chicken. We have all our own homemade sausages. We have pork ribs. We have baby back ribs. We have what's getting quite famous, our slick burger, which is a half-pound hamburger. We have a vegetarian burger for you vegetarians. We'd also like to invite you folks down to come and check our daily specials out.
Our planet's rainforests are burning. Less rainforest means less rain and an even greater threat from global warming. Right now, you can join the National Arbor Day Foundation and support rainforest rescue. Your call will mean that the wildlife, plants, and people that abound there will not be lost forever. In the few seconds I've been talking, a forest the size of 5 city blocks went up in smoke. You'd better call now.
Prices are low at Subway, but I'd rather focus on sandwiches. People call them hoagies or heroes or submarines because they're shaped like submarines, but we call them Subway sandwiches. Our 6-inch meatball sub features meatballs and sauce on bread I just baked, all for a low economical price. I won't say how low, but you'll probably find enough in the cushions of your couch.
For 25 years, Subway has quietly made some of the best sandwiches anywhere, like the 6-inch meatball sub, only $1.69, only at Subway.
It rained in the valley on Tuesday, a steady downpour most of the day as Moab caught the edge of a storm over the entire state. But better days are ahead. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for clouds through Wednesday with decreasing chance of some showers. Look for afternoon highs in the mid-40s, overnight lows dropping to the freezing mark. By the end of the week, expect some patches of sunshine and highs in the mid-40s. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The city of Moab takes another step toward a big and expensive water and sewer expansion. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
If you're looking for luxury and value, Certified Ford has a deal for you. It's the latest in comfort and style. The 1992 Ford Crown Victoria LX, loaded with extras, including power steering, power windows, cruise control, and much, much more. 3 low-mile models are in stock for the low price of just $16,995. So come on down to Certified Ford, 500 South Main, your hometown dealer in Moab.
The 50 More account at First Western. More perks, free checks, free checking, travel benefits, more security, $100,000 accidental death insurance, more convenience, direct deposit and notary service, all free with just a $100 balance. Or for no minimum balance and just $4 a month, join the 50 More Plus account for all these benefits. Plus, eyewear and pharmacy discounts, CD bonuses, safety deposit boxes, and more. The 50 More accounts at First Western National Bank.
And action. McDonald's Egg McMuffin sandwiches. They don't really do anything, but they taste really good. And now you can get 2 of them for just $2. And cut. Thanks, guys. That was great. The surface of a strange, distant planet? No, 2 tantalizing McDonald's Big Mac sandwiches. Now get them both for just $2.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Deep in a remote jungle? Nope. 2 Big Macs for $2. You mean you forgot already?
The city of Moab passed its audit for the fiscal year 1991-92 with flying colors. That was the report Tuesday evening at the city council meeting, where independent auditor Lane Peterson presented the annual report. Peterson spent a few months sifting through the documents, receipts, and pay stubs of the city and concluded the city has met its legal obligations for fiscal management. The report shows actual city revenue during the year, which ran from July of 1991 through June of 1992. The city collected about $55,000 less than what was budgeted. But to make up for that, the city spent $77,000 less than they had planned. And a good financial report is needed if the city continues through on a proposed major financial undertaking, a water, sewer, and drainage improvement and expansion. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
The city held a public hearing on a proposed multi-million-dollar infrastructure improvement plan Tuesday, a proposal that will affect the pocketbooks of all city residents. Last spring, the city, after numerous reports of debris in the water lines, conducted a video inspection of the main water transmission line that brings drinking water from the springs near the golf course into the city. That inspection showed major problems. There were leaks and cracks, significant corrosion at the joints, and a deteriorating lining. A special report from the firm of James Montgomery Engineering stated that it would not be practical to repair the damage, that a new line is needed. City officials then began looking at other water and sewer needs for now and the future that could also be carried out at the same time. The final proposal, or wish list, includes additional water main, sewer main, storm drainage, and sewer treatment expansion. Councilmember Bill McDougald has spent much of his 30 years on the council and as mayor learning about water and sewer issues in Moab. He told Channel 6 about this particular project. What is the total financial package that the city is looking toward around this improvement and expansion project?
Just under $3 million.
And what are the major elements of the program?
The major is about $1.6 million on the replacement of water line from the golf course area, our main culinary source. Just under $300,000 here in the expansion of this very nice sewer plant that we work with. And then there's $745,000 or something like that in storm drainage. And I would like to add that basically the storm drainage has been an oncoming thing since the irrigation ditches are all being, the open ditches are being replaced with pressurized pipe. So it's changed our whole drainage system within the system. And we have to put in like about 18,000 feet or something like that of storm drainage so that we can get that water to the creeks more readily instead of just letting them flow down the street and create these sumps.
The inspiration for the work comes from the deteriorating water main transmission line. But much of the impetus for looking at water and sewer expansion is the growth Moab has experienced in recent years, a growth that is predicted to continue. And some local residents say they should not have to bear the burden of paying for that expansion. A number of people are saying the city is looking at a $3 million expansion program. Let the new businesses coming into town pay for it. Is that feasible?
We all have to pay for it because, yes, they'll pay their share too because they buy commercial on a commercial rate, they pay their way. And as residences, there'll be some additional cost. I don't think it's going to be prohibitive. But we haven't done much since 1970s in this overall system. This plant was built in the 50s, expanded in the 60s, remodeled and worked on in the 70s, and here it is. And we need another 1,000 connections in the sewer plant, for example. We have to have the water for the industry and for our tourist industry, which is our main industry.
The Moab sewage treatment plant, according to state officials, may be the best run and cleanest treatment plant in Utah. But it is getting close to 40 years old, and though expanded, it may need more capacity in the future. But McDougald says that as of now, that need is not immediate.
Our engineering studies by the man that actually designed this original plant, Mr. Anderson in the 1950s, but our engineering studies from his firm recently showed us that we are operating at about 77% capacity.
How will Moab pay for this? The city will pursue grants, but they may be slow in coming. There are also low-interest loans available from the state, but those loans have to be paid back. How is Moab going to pay for all this work?
You do it through, mainly through water and sewer sales, and through new connections, perhaps we'll have additional impact fees in the future, which we should have had probably on the newer motels expansion, which wasn't in place. And mainly through water and sewer revenue and also out of the general fund. We are operating mainly through sales tax base, so certainly sales taxes some of the sales taxes have to go into this water and sewer expansion. That's what it's all about. We do not choose at the present time to increase our mill levy, which we may have to do eventually.
You mean the city property tax?
That's right. We may have to go back to that as a source of revenue.
Many areas impose impact fees on new construction, and Moab may do that, but it looks like the golden opportunity for that has passed. Over the last 2 years, the City Council discussed and debated the impact fees, but those discussions went nowhere. And meanwhile, the major new commercial construction has already taken place. So impact fees now will bring in far less than they would have a year ago. But however it's paid for, McDougald says the work must go on.
It's just a basic need that we're all shouldered with. We have to have water and sewer. These services we don't exist in a modern society without. Water's it's just a life of city business, water and sewer, and of course we have to do our other things, our other services. It's all our obligation, and it's a must. We have to have it.
The city has not officially voted for the plan or for any part of it, but they can't wait too much longer. The main line between the springs and the kitchen faucet is breaking down more and more every day. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Organizers of the April Jeep Safari are getting geared up for that annual event. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Families in the West know what it takes to produce blue ribbon quality. We were raised on quality poultry, guaranteed fresh and USDA inspected. People still look for the best when they go to the market. It's a tradition, and the guarantee of getting your money's worth still stands for something at City Market, the best meat market in town.
Hello, neighbors. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Rooney, owner of Dos Amigos. I've come into your homes because, admittedly, since my arrival in Moab, I have raped and pillaged not only you, the members of the community, but thousands of unsuspecting tourists as well. If I hadn't foolishly squandered the proceeds, I would happily return them, and I can only hope that what I'm about to announce will in some way make amends for my selfish acts. On a recent journey to the Baja, I secured and returned to Moab with 3 large artist renderings of Mr. Elvis Presley on beautiful velveteen. That's right, the largest collection of velvet Elvises in the state of Utah is now housed in our community and on display at Dos Amigos during normal business hours. Come and behold him, and please, no flash cameras.
John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance is your agent on the scene and behind the scene to make sure you get prompt, efficient response to your insurance claims. John Fogg at Central Utah Insurance, your independent insurance agent, the agent who works for you.
The new 7th District Court judge will be former County Attorney Lyle Anderson. Anderson was approved for the position by the state legislature. He was nominated by outgoing Governor Norman Bangerter and confirmed Wednesday by the state Senate. Anderson will replace retiring Judge Boyd Bunnell. Services will be held Thursday for Blanding resident Leroy Bright, who died this week at San Juan Hospital. He was 68 years of age. Graveside services will take place at 10:30 at Sunset Memorial Cemetery. It's the dead of winter, and that means it's time to start thinking about the Jeep Safari. The annual spring event, now one of the premier four-wheel drive activities in the world, has grown in popularity and complexity over the years. The week of rides and get-togethers is sponsored by the Red Rock Four-Wheelers. This year, the safari takes place April 3rd through the 11th. This week, according to Four-Wheelers Information Officer Burr Knight, the club mailed out the Jeep Safari newspapers, the biggest paper ever mailed to more people than ever.
Everything keeps getting bigger, although we're very near our saturation point really on what we can handle on this Jeep Safari. The newspaper is 48 pages this year compared to 44 last year, which means that the printing place was able to gather more advertising. People are more interested. We mailed over about $1,100 worth of stuff yesterday, over 1,200 pounds of newspapers. We have our mailing list now is 48 states, 11 foreign countries. We mailed 42 papers to foreign countries. About half those were Canada. The rest were 10 countries in Europe, Japan, New Zealand, all over.
Do you get people coming in from overseas?
We've actually had two of the people, those foreign overseas people, have been here to past events. The New Zealand people have been, and people from England have been here.
This is the 27th edition of the safari, which began as a group of people getting together for a one-day event on a few trails. Now it has become a huge undertaking involving not only trail leaders, but registration, record-keeping, insurance, government liaison, and public relations. And the number of people coming is continuing to go up. Only so many people can go on any one trail, and the club has announced that they will organize registration a little bit differently this year.
This will be the third year where advance registrations have been almost essential. And the question now becomes who gets first choice on the trails. And last year, we decided we had a system that was a little bit unfair in that first come, first choice. And that seems fair, except that when you mail by the bulk mail, not everybody gets his paper at the same time. And some people may get their paper after trails are full. So we have set up a lottery system this year. It begins as a lottery system, so that until March 3rd, everybody's registration will be treated the same. And we'll draw the numbers out of a hat. And if you're lucky, then you get your first choices. If not, you'll be down the list a little bit on the choices.
Does that include the locals around Moab area or the southeast corner?
The only exception is that, again, we're giving our club members a preferential treatment, a chance to register during this month. And if they don't hustle, then they'll be back in the lottery system with everyone else. After that lottery period is over, then we'll go to a first postmark, a first choice on trails.
The cost this year will be $30 for one day's ride, plus $10 a day beyond that first one. More trails have been added, and they too are expected to fill up quickly.
We've added a few trails. Our big Saturday, we had 24 trails last year. We've dropped one of those and added 2, so we'll have 25 on the big Saturday. Then we have a camping trail this year. For the first time, I think, ever in the Jeep Safari. We'll have 2 sessions of Hole in the Rock Trail, which will be two night trips, and those will be early in the week. The first weekend, this is April 3rd through the 5th, and then that Monday through Thursday, there'll be another session of the Hole in the Rock Trail.
Over the last few years, the safari's popularity has skyrocketed. But Knight says the club feels it's just about reached as big as they will let it get.
We had almost 1,200 vehicles participated last year, and it will probably be a little more than that because we've added just a few trails in during the week especially, but it's not going to be much larger than that just because we can't handle it. That's we're about to where we can go. Our permit would really, if we packed everything jam full and added more trails, we could put more vehicles in, but we're not anxious really to do that.
Copies of the Jeep Safari newspaper are available at locations throughout town. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Pick up a current copy of Moab Happenings for the latest information on activities, dining, school events, recreation, filled with pictures and maps, and it's free. Moab Happenings.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
The Nike Air Moab, only at RIM.
Cool temperatures, but bright blue skies stayed over the valley. A beautiful day to get out in the fresh air and look for some relatively pleasant winter weather the next few days. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly sunny skies through Thursday and Friday. Temperatures should warm up to near the 50-degree mark. Overnight lows near 30. But if you plan to spend time outdoors, be prepared for some very scattered rain showers, especially at higher elevations. Long-range forecast calls for partly sunny skies to continue right on through the weekend. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The new president of the Board of Education gives her views on new school construction and her goals for the coming year. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
It's breakfast time. You're long on hunger, but short on change. What can you get for $1.89? How about this? Or this? Now it's lunch. How much you got? Lunch for $1.89? Golden Steak, your special place, every day of the week.
First Western National Bank announces Common Sense Checking. It has all the benefits like free checks, unlimited checking, accidental death insurance, safe deposit boxes, etc. But Common Sense has more. Credit card protection, a $500 emergency cash advance service, key ring protection, and a discount program to save you up to 50% on lodging worldwide and other great travel discounts. So why did First Western expand your banking benefits? Common sense. First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
If you're looking for luxury and value, Certified Ford has a deal for you. It's the latest in comfort and style. The 1992 Ford Crown Victoria LX, loaded with extras, including power steering, power windows, cruise control, and much, much more. 3 low-mile models are in stock for the low price of just $16,995. So come on down to Certified Ford, 500 South Main, your hometown dealer in Moab. It was the first regular meeting of the new school board. Earlier this month, members Susan Gottschalk and Rick York were sworn in, joining Carrie Bailey, Bruce Louthan, and Cynthia Smith. And the new board president is Smith, who was elected to the board 2 years ago. She takes over from Mike Earhart, who decided not to run again. Smith told Channel 6 that as president, she has a few immediate goals.
I think we need to to make sure that the agendas are laid out and our board members are fully prepared so that we can go through the agendas in a timely manner. So when people come in expecting an item to appear at a certain time, that it will be reasonably close to that time. And one of the personal goals I have is to get the community and parents involved in school. Because the more you read and research and the more you hear from other school districts, things that are working and things that are not working, you need the community support and involvement in order for things to happen effectively in the schools. And so that is one thing as a board president, and I think the board members feel that also, that we need to get the community involved, and we're going to have to start exploring ways to do that.
The school district faces a number of challenges over the next few years, including student needs that sometimes seem to be outstripping the board's ability to generate revenue. The district sees capital improvements as necessary in the near future.
Well, we've had an increase in student enrollment in the last couple of years, which is good, but it seems to be impacting the high school more than some of the other schools. And right now our principal at the high school says he could use 3 or 4 more classrooms, and they are just not there. And of course there's the condition of the middle school building. It is old, it does not meet some of the requirements for handicap access. So we are definitely looking at building another building in the next several years. And at first we thought it would be a new middle school, but now maybe we're looking more at a new high school and then moving the middle school into the old high school. And this is a major project, and it will take a commitment from the community as a whole. And so that is something we want to start discussing, an idea we want to put out in the community and start getting input and see where we are with that.
The board has been planning ahead. Last year they purchased a large tract of land near the high school and is now working on how to best design their construction for the needs of the students.
Well, first of all, we want to have an overall plan for the land, and we have hired David Bell through Design West architecture firm, and he will be coming down starting January 28th and starting to implement community meetings where we get input from everyone in the community as to what would be some of the uses for the land. We want to make sure we don't put something somewhere and then find out in a few years that's not where it needs to be. And so this will be a process that will take for the next 4 months, and then by the end of April, hopefully he will present us with a plan that shows the best use of that property.
Smith says communication between the district and parents should be increased.
The community needs to know what's happening in the schools, and we get good coverage from Channel 6 and from the Times Independent, but I think also some of the school board members are feeling that they'd like to go out and talk to groups, talk to senior citizens, talk at Rotary, talk at church gatherings, sororities, just any place where we can get a group of people together to tell them what's going on in the schools.
Right now, the county is going through major changes with the start of a new form of county government next month, and at the same time continuing major ongoing projects. Smith says the different government entities should work closely together.
And once the new county council comes in, I really think it would be for the best interest of the community as a whole if the county council and the school board and the city council could all sit down and say, what are some of the things this community needs? Because I know the city council is talking about water and sewer needs, and we're talking about buildings, and I think we all need to sit down and just really say, what are the citizens facing in the next few years in terms of demands on the revenue, and see what we can work out so that we are working together and somebody isn't one area is not trying to get money at one time and another one, so that we can maybe have kind of an overall plan. That's something I'd like to see happen.
Education questions will grow more complicated as the district finds itself trying to provide the new skills needed to succeed in a more competitive world. And Smith says Grand County has a big advantage, its education employees.
I think our greatest asset is the people working in the district. We have really dedicated teachers and staff and administrator, and that's the resource that we need to make sure that we do everything to maintain and to increase.
What's the biggest problem we face?
Funding, although that is beginning to turn around a little bit with the increase in students. And then also I just see we need to pull the community back in. I think education needs to be a high priority in this community. And I think that until we can get that, it's going to be harder to make the school system the best that we possibly can.
Once again, the City Council discusses tearing down the old South Mountain Trading Post. And the Forest Service says if you're going up to the mountains, stay alert. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
Families in the West know what it takes to produce blue ribbon quality. We were raised on quality poultry, guaranteed fresh and USDA inspected. People still look for the best when they go to the market. It's a tradition, and the guarantee of getting your money's worth still stands for something at City Market, the best meat market in town.
Brighten up your wardrobe this season with a special look from On the Edge. Striking sweaters for her and comfortable flannel shirts in light and heavy weights. Top them off with a wide variety of leather and denim coats. Look sharp this fall with activewear from On the Edge.
Hello, neighbors. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Rooney, owner of Dos Amigos. I've come into your homes because, admittedly, since my arrival in Moab, I have raped and pillaged not only you, the members of the community, but thousands of unsuspecting tourists as well. If I hadn't foolishly squandered the proceeds, I would happily return them, and I can only hope that what I'm about to announce will in some way make amends for my selfish acts. On a recent journey to the Baja, I secured and returned to Moab with 3 large artist renderings of Mr. Elvis Presley on beautiful velveteen. That's right, the largest collection of velvet Elvises in the state of Utah is now housed in our community and on display at Dos Amigos during normal business hours. Come and behold him, and please, no flash cameras.
What will happen to the South Mountain Trading Post? The building burned on New Year's Day in 1988 and has been empty ever since. Last year, citing potential safety problems, the city began condemnation proceedings and planned to tear the structure down. But assurances from owners Emma and Janie Walker that restoration would soon begin and threats of legal action against the city convinced the City Council to pull back and give the owners more time. According to at least one council member, that time has run out.
We spoke at our last meeting about the South Mountain Trading Post building and that we were going to have it open in 2 weeks. I didn't see anything in our information packet as to where we stand there.
I sent a certified letter to Janie Walker last week. I haven't got the return receipt back from me yet. It was informing her that we'd hold a hearing to revoke her building permit because of non-compliance with the dangerous building code. So that's where I'm at right now, is waiting to prove that she received the notice. And that's where we're at right now.
Do you have a date?
It specified that she contacted me, or that she'd show progress within 14 days of receipt of that notice. We'd proceed within 30 days to set a hearing date.
We're halfway through the winter and going on into, spring's coming up. If it's going to get fixed, needs to start on it because it's going to adversely impact the surrounding business owners. Building a big structure out front, whatever, to protect people. And if it's going to be tore down, then let's get it tore down.
If the city wishes to pursue condemnation action, it must begin the process over again, including a hearing before the Abatement of Dangerous Buildings Board. New members of the Chamber of Commerce Board were elected this week. The vote took place at the Chamber's weekly luncheon, where local attorney Sandra Starley, Fairchase Adventures owner John Hauer, and Canyon Voyages owner Don Oblak were all elected to the board. According to former Chamber of Commerce President John Fogg, he expects it to be an activist group.
I know that the board very much wants to continue to be extremely progressive. We're all very pro-Chamber of Commerce type people. We're very pro-businesses promoting businesses attitude. That's our feeling. The best way to promote growth and development in Moab is that business people unite together and accomplish it.
The growth of tourism in Moab has placed new challenges to the organization, says new Chamber President Tom Schellenberger.
It's been said that the Travel Council gets people to Moab
That's kind of their mandate, and then it's for us, the chamber members, to take care of the people once they get here, and also to take care of each other and our businesses in town. But since this is a tourist-based economy, taking care of the tourist needs is real high on our priority list.
Schellenberger also laid out some of his goals as chamber president during 1993.
What I would like to see us concentrate on would be industry promotion, industrial development, retail promotion with possibly a shop-at-home program, and image campaign. Some of the goals specifically for 1993 I would like to see happen would be a goal-setting session with chamber members, and not just board members, but you folks who are the chamber members, and help us develop some direction so we're not operating in a vacuum. Let us know what it is that you want to see the chamber be doing.
If you plan to head up to the La Salle Mountain, new snow has made movement difficult and has increased some dangers. Forester Pat Spar explains.
Well, over the last few days, we've gotten a whole lot of snow, and you know, it was raining in town, and it just dumped the snow on the mountain. There's probably on the order of 3 feet of new snow. The avalanche hazard is pretty high on all slopes. Anything over 30 degrees, the avalanche hazard is high. So if anybody's going into the backcountry this weekend, I would strongly suggest that they call our 259-7669 snow number and get the avalanche hazard forecast. Craig Bigler put one on yesterday. He'll update it tomorrow.
Earlier this week, the State Division of Parks and Recreation brought down a grooming machine to pack down a cross-country trail across the forest. But Spar says the work could not be completed.
As it turns out, the snow was so sugary and so bottomless that the state was only able to groom to about Geyser Pass, a little below Geyser Pass. Their cat made it on to around the Blue Lake Road, but it's cat packed from around the pass to the Blue Lake Road. Beyond there, the snow was so deep and sugary that they just couldn't travel any farther. So people calling the snow line will hear that it has been packed all the way around, but that didn't come about. So it's only packed part of the way.
And movement by vehicle to the popular Geyser Pass trailhead is also tough going, at least right now.
The Geyser Pass Road hasn't been opened up yet. It's still impassable to the Geyser Pass trailhead. The county, Grant County, is planning on getting that opened up, but they may have it open Thursday, but probably not until sometime Friday.
And once again, that Avalanche Forecast Center and Winter Recreation Information number is 259-SNOW, or 259-7669. Well, up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Prices are low at Subway, but I'd rather focus on sandwiches. People call them hoagies or heroes or submarines because they're shaped like submarines, but we call them Subway sandwiches. Our 6-inch meatball sub features meatballs and sauce on bread I just baked, all for a low economical price. I won't say how low, but you'll probably find enough in the cushions of your couch.
For 25 years, Subway has quietly made some of the best sandwiches anywhere, like the 6-inch meatball sub, only $1.69, only at Subway.
Bright sunshine stayed in the valley on Thursday, though a layer of haze hung low through the early morning. Look for clouds, but mostly dry skies over the next few days. Forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for cloudy skies on Friday, with afternoon high temperatures climbing into the 50s. Overnight lows should drop down to about 30 degrees. Weekend forecast calls for partly cloudy skies on Saturday, lots of sunshine on Sunday, highs staying around the 50-degree mark. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day. Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The Grand County Travel Council has selected a new chairman. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
The 50 More account at First Western. More perks, free checks, free checking, travel benefits, more security, $100,000 accidental death insurance, more convenience, direct deposit and notary service, all free with just a $100 balance. Or for no minimum balance and just $4 a month, join the 50 More Plus account for all these benefits. Plus, eyewear and pharmacy discounts, CD bonuses, safety deposit boxes, and more. The 50 More accounts at First Western National Bank.
And action. McDonald's Egg McMuffin sandwiches. They don't really do anything, but they taste really good. And now you can get 2 of them for just $2. And cut. Thanks, guys. That was great. The surface of a strange, distant planet? No, 2 tantalizing McDonald's Big Mac sandwiches. Now get them both for just $2.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Deep in a remote jungle? Nope. 2 Big Macs for $2. You mean you forgot already?
It's the holiday season, and if you're flying off to spend time with relatives and friends, Alpine Air wants to remind you you can save up to 36% off airfare with 3- or 8-day advance ticket purchases. Discount fares apply on either one-way or round-trip fares to either Salt Lake City or Grand Junction, Colorado. So plan early and save with Alpine Air, your Moab connection.
The Grand County Travel Council Board has a new chairman. Lucky Morris was chosen by the board at their meeting Thursday evening in Green River. Morris, who works with Utah Power and Light, has been on the board for close to 1.5 years. He takes over from Olive Anderson, who became the chairperson after Bob Jones quit the board about a year ago. And elected vice chair was Joe Kingsley. The Travel Council heard 2 requests for funding at the meeting. The first came from Sandy Bastian, manager of the Old Spanish Trail Arena. She was asking for money to construct a snack bar at the arena. At a past meeting, the cost of the construction was estimated to be about $10,000, but now it appears that estimate was low.
Specific bids on the concessions, and that was done with the help of a lot of contractors in the area. They all gave specific bids on those, but rather than to list those by individual amounts, since they will be submitting those bids if this project goes through, we just kind of rounded off the total figure to $18,000 to complete the whole project.
Bastian said the snack bar would end up looking like the rest of the arena.
We have been able to find some of the red block that the building was built with, and in the people that I've been talking to as far as construction-wise on the concessions in the inside, we decided that the red block would work well for two reasons. Number one, it would be cheaper to use the block to keep with the fire codes that's within the building. We won't have to use metal studs instead of, you know, to keep the fire rating if we had a regular wall rather than the brick walls.
Jean McDowell of the Dan O'Leary Museum also made a request. The museum has been working to improve its displays, which range from rotating shows of art of the Canyonlands region to permanent displays featuring the history of the area from ancient times to the present. But the museum fears that unless it has a chance to expand, it may be forced to leave its present location in the future. McDowell said an opportunity for that expansion has come up, but it will require money, and the museum hoped that the Travel Council could help.
The property next door is for sale, and it's rather costly, and we were thinking if we could get a down payment for it, then we could rent it. It consists of not only the liquor store, but some rental properties with it. But it's looking for the future because we're sort of landlocked. The library has the grass to the west of us and the parking lot to the back of us. And, well, down the road we'd have to move.
But according to Anderson, that might not be allowed by law.
We operate under a state code that tells us what we can and cannot use our funds for. So I would recommend this board, before we give you an answer or pursue it any further, that we go to the county commissioner and ask for an interpretation as to this project and whether it would qualify for Travel Council funds.
The board also awarded a bid to reprint the Magic of Moab brochure. The cost will be 32 cents per copy. You may have noticed a group of safety orange-clad individuals going up and down along Highway 191 on the north end of Moab. It was, in fact, a sort of moving meeting. City streets employees and Department of Transportation officials were looking at what could be a major expansion of the road. City Public Works Director Brent Williams explained.
We've got a problem out there on the highway going north, and we're trying to widen the shoulders to get curb gutter and sidewalk put in there and get some more lanes. And eventually we want 4 travel lanes and 1 turn lane. And to get that distance, we're all out there trying to figure out where we can put the start of it in. And
you have private land on both sides of the highway there. Is that going to be a difficult process to get it?
Yes, that is a lot of the problem. I've been trying to get the state to understand that's a major project out there. It's not one of these quick fixes that the county or the city can do. The hydraulics of the flood control is the main thing, and to do that it's expensive.
That stretch of the road has had problems recently. Rainstorms result in flooding there, and it's been an ongoing repair job for city crews. And the widening would also affect the future of utility rights-of-way in and out of Moab.
It looks like the utilities right-of-way would make it difficult to widen the road. What's your view of that?
Basically, we've discussed getting rid of some of the street lights out there. And as far as the gas and the water, we need to get a water line going down through there. So we don't want to put all this in and then have to tear it up to put the water line in. So it's all got to be coordinated at the same time. But I can foresee it's going to be a long process.
Do you see anything happening this year?
I'm hoping to get at least a curb gutter and sidewalk on the west side done. And we need, the power poles are exactly in line with the curb line. So we're going to have to adjust for that.
Have you talked to Utah Power and Light?
Yes, and they're willing to take the lights out for a nominal fee. So basically we're going to leave them, everything like it is, leave those in. On the other side of the highway, we'll probably take those out.
It will be an expensive project, but Williams says UDOT, which is responsible for maintaining and improving highways, is looking seriously at the situation.
Oh, they want to help us. Archie Hamilton, the district director now, he's committed to help us up to a point. And then there's the liabilities. Everybody gets this scare of who's going to sue who, and the state's got the deepest pocket. And I told them the county's worked on it, the state's worked on it, the city's worked on it, so we're all liable. If that's the problem, so be it. Let's just get on with business and make it safe.
The League of Women Voters gets ready to present its candidates forum. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
Families in the West know what it takes to produce blue ribbon quality. We were raised on quality poultry, guaranteed fresh and USDA inspected. People still look for the best when they go to the market. It's a tradition, and the guarantee of getting your money's worth still stands for something at City Market, the best meat market in town.
Hello, neighbors. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Rooney, owner of Dos Amigos. I've come into your homes because, admittedly, since my arrival in Moab, I have raped and pillaged not only you, the members of the community, but thousands of unsuspecting tourists as well. If I hadn't foolishly squandered the proceeds, I would happily return them, and I can only hope that what I'm about to announce will in some way make amends for my selfish acts. On a recent journey to the Baja, I secured and returned to Moab with 3 large artist renderings of Mr. Elvis Presley on beautiful velveteen. That's right, the largest collection of velvet Elvises in the state of Utah is now housed in our community and on display at Dos Amigos during normal business hours. Come and behold him, and please, no flash cameras.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
The League of Women Voters will split their usual candidates forum into 2 events this coming week. Traditionally, the League hosts the meeting, an opportunity for local candidates to present their views to the public, and it has grown into a major campaign event of the election. But because of the large number of races for the county council, the League will split the forum into 2 segments. The first, Monday evening, will feature 4 of the 5 district races. District 1 candidates are Charlie Peterson and Dale Mosier. District 2 features Ken Ballantyne and Adair White. 3rd district candidates are Mike Holyoke and Paul Menard. And District 5 candidates, John Maynard and Dave May, will face off. Then 2 days later, the League will sponsor another forum featuring the candidates for District 4, who are Bill Hedden and Bobby Dominic. In addition, the 4 candidates for the 2 at-large seats will be on hand. They are current County Commissioner Peter Haney, along with John Hartley, Dan Holyoke, and Delbert Oliver. Voters will have an opportunity to vote for 2 of the at-large candidates. Once again, the League of Women Voters Forum featuring candidates in Districts 1, 2, 3, and 5 will be held Monday evening, January 25th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center. And 2 nights later, Wednesday, candidates for District 4 and the 2 at-large seats will speak, also beginning at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center. And Channel 6 will broadcast both of the forums a week later. The popularity of Moab has some side effects, and one is being felt strongly now: the shortage of available and affordable housing. Just a few years ago, homes were being sold for little more than taking over payments, but now those bargains are gone, and the cost of housing has skyrocketed. And even if you have the money, the number of homes available are getting smaller and smaller. What's the future of housing in Grand County? According to Gary Jacobson of First Western National Bank, expect some, but not too much change in the next year.
I think that the existing houses on the market, there are very few houses out there. They've been bought up, and there's not a lot of available housing. I think you're going to see some real estate construction. In fact, you see the people that are moving in here are having to build housing in here.
Moab has some apartment complexes, both publicly subsidized and market rate buildings. There have been calls from community leaders to encourage the construction of more apartments, but Jacobson says that's bucking the financial trend.
As rental incomes that may have to be charged because of new construction may be out of the range of most of the people, and so again the numbers aren't there. They can't fill the things because the rents would have to be too high. In fact, you've seen a lot of apartments that were in town convert to the bed and breakfast type situations because they can create more income on a monthly basis through a bed and breakfast than they can on a monthly apartment rental.
The future of housing? If you can find a house, the banks are willing and eager to lend you money to buy it, and the stock of available homes will increase in the future.
I see a steady growth of new construction. I don't think it's going to be a major expansion. I think it's going to continue about the same lines as it's been going on through '92. And we had some pretty good construction in '92. It was slow and steady. And it was encouraging because you saw some new stuff going up in the community.
It's been a tough year for high school basketball teams here in Moab, but both squads have a chance this weekend to get on the winning track. The Red Devils play host Friday night to Park City. The Miners are a strong team this year, but a big home crowd could help Grand County. Varsity game gets underway at 7:30. The She-Devils lost another game Thursday night and are still looking for their first win of the year, and they have a chance for that Saturday when Monticello comes to town. Tip-off for that game, also 7:30. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
Furnace not heating like it used to? Get the Trane 2-stage 80 furnace with a low speed for mild conditions and a high speed for extreme cold. It heats your home evenly, efficiently, and quietly. It's hard to stop a Trane.
Your Trane dealer in Moab is Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
It was mostly sunshine in the valley Friday morning with temperatures up to the mid-50s, but by afternoon the clouds rolled in, and look for more clouds and a chance of some showers over the next few days. Forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for scattered showers beginning the weekend, clearing to bright sunshine on Sunday, before more clouds roll back in on Monday. Look for afternoon highs staying in the mid to upper 40s, overnight lows dropping down to around the freezing mark. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.